Welcome to ASKN the podcast, where four friends come together to expound on the everyday life questions that we all have.
From the mundane to the profound, we're here to share our thoughts and insights on all things that make us all human.
Join us as we explore the complexities of relationship and everything in between.
So sit back, relax, and get ready to join the conversations as we dive into the questions that shape our lives.
This is ASKN.
Hey,
everybody.
Yes. All right, so we starting off this episode by highlighting these lovely drinks. What's they called, honey?
The Sleeping Beauty.
The Sleeping Beauty, honey. This is 1800 mango tequila mixed with strawberry simply lemonade and raw cranberry juice. So cheers.
Cheers. Second episode.
Ooh. Oh, I did my thing. It's a little tart.
So
It
good.
hit
Right
It
here.
hit right here.
Right there.
I can see it putting us to sleep though.
Yes,
Right.
this is
And it's
yeah.
so chill.
And I also got the little rose thing from Shein. It's so cute. Check out our Instagram, y'all, to check the little reel that I'm gonna make.
Yeah.
That shows exactly how I put this together. It's so cute.
Getting together. This is us together.
All right. How's y'all's week?
I guess I'll start. Y'all looking at me. My week was so hectic. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. That storm that happened, my power was out. I want to say for a good 14, 16 hours. A lot of people's power was out for like 3+ days. Internet out for like 72 hours. Like, y'all know I can't operate with no internet. I have smart TVs, have every device you can think of, and nothing was working because of no internet. It finally came back on. I want to say like Friday night it came back on. Everything started going right starting Friday. So me and Jalen celebrated our 1-year anniversary yesterday. So that was really fun, really sweet. So since Friday, everything's been on up and up. But Monday to Friday morning, like it was so hectic. Just everything going wrong. What about you?
It ended good, so that's all that
Right. Me, I don't know.
I
I was working
Your step challenge.
and work. Oh,
Your
girl,
step challenge.
I'm on the little step challenge at work. So I'm honestly
She just
been
been moving her
yeah.
arm.
Oh really?
I've been Cause
Are you still in first place?
Where are you
I
at?
don't know. I'm probably not because we've been walking.
Yes, you have. You've been walking up my
up and
stairs.
down
Oh, that
stairs.
counts?
Yeah, this counts it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm in a step challenge for work. So honestly, that has consumed my week because I want to stay in first place. Other than that, I just my little bubble. Ain't really been doing anything. How about you, Kay?
My week, I was working all week. Did anything interesting happen?
I know what happened. I don't know if you want to speak on it. The crumble
cookies.
Delivered. So I did get some crumble cookies delivered to work.
That we all
from who?
We ain't gotta go into that. But yes, just I don't know. I'm gonna assume it was a friendly gesture because we haven't talked about anything that's not like outside of a friend zone just yet.
Okay.
So it was a friendly gesture. He felt bad, so he just not anything that he did to me, but he felt bad, like because he felt like he wasted my time with some work related stuff. And so he was like, "Oh, let me just get you some crumble cookies," which, I'm trying to lose weight, but they was good, and I definitely ate the whole box.
Not the whole box.
And that's how you know
He
it's
got
real.
the
didn't
got
get
the
a single.
6-pack.
Yeah, that's the big.
He had got the
big
6-pack.
Oh yeah, that's
y'all.
the big, not the 4-pack. The six.
He got the
That's
6-pack.
Okay.
Hello.
He got money.
That's a good $30.
Okay. Awesome cookies.
Awesome cookies.
I think that is so cute.
delivered.
Right. I think that is so cute. Well, no, he delivered them.
Oh, okay.
He brought them in. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that was so cute because you took time out of your day and
It's
got me some
thoughtful.
cookies and you personally brought them to me. That was
And they good.
Oh, my week was stressful. I feel like I had an eventful week. My AC stopped working. What was that, Tuesday? And my bae, whatever, he put my TV up, but we didn't have the right tools. So I had to drive all the way to my mom's house. I got there, her refrigerator wasn't working.
Lord.
Yeah, family drama. This weekend though was pretty eventful. I really been out since I'm single. I just be out, and barely be home. Like I normally be in the bed by 10, and I be driving at 10.
And you got one more pool to be at, and don't invite me.
So look, let me tell y'all, it's really last minute. Like as soon as I was leaving out of my photo shoot yesterday, I had called my friend and I was like, if she don't answer, I'm just going home. I was headed to the restaurant and then she called me and she was like, oh yeah, I'm still here because I forgot what time it started. But she was like, oh, I might leave around this, so I'll let you know if I'm not there. She was like, we'll just meet another time. But I called her, she didn't answer. And while I was on the road, she was like, oh yeah, I am here. And she was like, well, where are you? I was like, oh, I'm on Fountain View. And she was like, well, oh, it's actually 7 minutes away from that. So I was like, oh, she was like, and we have food. And that's why I really went, because I was hungry. I was hungry.
Let me go see what this is about.
Right? I was super hungry. So yeah, this week has been hectic. I'm glad I'm done with the photo shoot. I'm glad we here.
Yes.
And two,
Right.
we've been in excessive heat warning.
Yeah.
Oh,
baby.
for like
That's what I
2
was gonna say.
weeks.
Yeah, this is gonna be the hottest week.
Oh
What?
my God! What was
No, that's
AC.
just the beginning.
Yeah.
what were the
AC.
other 2 weeks?
You
The
said
other 2 weeks were the start of the abomination.
That wasn't excessive. We had a 5-minute
yeah, no,
hurricane.
it was excessive.
We did.
You had a
have
fight. Y'all had a
yeah.
5-minute hurricane.
Yeah, they said the wind speed was so high, it was like a 5-minute hurricane.
And I told
for
you, I
real.
called AT&T, and the reason for the Wi-Fi being out, they said they had to drill new holes into the ground.
This is a
And
Y'all,
we
it
were
was
to get the
trees
Wi-Fi
had uprooted
Yeah.
out the ground. We
Fences
had
and everything.
a 5 minute. The planes at the airport by my house
tipped
moved.
over. Yeah.
Nothing moved.
They
They moved.
They had them planes in neutral.
They
What's
was hydraulics because the front wheel was off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Yeah.
front wheel.
Y'all imagine if the hurricane is so bad, that bad boy push off the train
Oh
and push into the airport.
Lord
We
have
just-
mercy.
That's
Is that getting closer?
They need to have the emergency brake on or something.
That's what I'm saying.
The
They
park
not.
brake.
They, they ain't got no
They don't
anchor
have no
version of a
parking
plane
signs.
for the
They
plane.
do have
you
an
know?
anchor, I
They
think.
have like a little block they put.
Yeah, like
Baby, them blocks
uh,
wasn't
nothing.
holding. They wasn't holding because them
this
planes.
storm was. I know this storm was different because usually spring where I live at, we don't get that
At
much
all.
severe weather, and let alone like a hurricane. Even
And
though
for the
hurricanes
light,
come,
the power to be
it's not
out.
up that
Nah,
far.
the weather
And the
simulation
power
is
never
never
jumping.
been
my
that
whole
bad.
2 years of living here, I never had a power outage.
Nah,
Ever.
the weather simulation has been jacking up. It's in a glitch, and the government person back there, he must have went on a break and accidentally hit the wrong
Right,
button.
he did.
They
He
said
did.
summer.
Like it turned out all
Because
the
they
way up.
moved hurricane season up.
They did.
We
And
already in hurricanes.
And it
I
ends in
know.
August,
There's
I
3 of
think.
them already out there.
Yeah,
turn
but
into,
one
like,
of them gonna
tropical
dissipate. And
storms.
y'all, I think I'm gonna buy this raft. Y'all keep stopping me from buying
You
this
know
raft.
what?
All
You
right,
are
I
the
think
only person in the raft.
that's called the raft is gonna wrap up our little catch up. Us catching
It's a
up.
whole
The
nother
girls
conversation.
catching up.
Our preparedness kid.
Girl. Anyways, can I see your phone really quickly, please? So,
Mhm.
y'all ready to get into this topic?
Let's
go.
get into it. Let
I
me take me a
We
little
all
sippy
warmed
sip.
up.
Let me take me a sippy sip.
So, for this episode, y'all, we're going to be talking about expectations while dating relationships. Now, that's our general question, but we have a few broken out, more detailed questions that I'm really interested for us to hear everybody's perspectives on it. So, gender roles. Do y'all believe in gender roles? And what's your take on it?
I'll go first. So, as far as gender roles, at one point, hold on, I'm gonna change my answer because I actually do kind of believe in gender roles. I do feel like the man should lead. Like he sets the tone for the family. If he lying, manipulative, that means everybody in the house is in disarray. If he not good with his finances, the bills ain't being paid, I'm stressed out. So I do believe in gender roles in that sense, is the man should lead. Now, does that mean that he has to take care of everything? No, but the two main things I don't like to do is take out the trash and pump my own gas. that's it. But as far as everything else, I do feel like relationships are a partnership. Like y'all should go at it together, and it could change every day. You know, like some days 50-50, some days 80-20, some days 70-30. Like it really depends on what's going on. Like I'm not about to ask you to do a whole bunch of stuff if your mama just died. You know, like
I expect
right. And if I have a baby, I want to be treated like a panda.
Hello.
That's like an Asian term. Like you treat her like a panda because
very gentle.
They be rocking them.
And you know, I seen this clip on TikTok where it said that her and her husband, she was like, if he comes home from work and be like, hey, I got 20 today. And she be like, okay, well, I'll pick up the 80.
Brown.
That's who it was. Yeah, she was like, well, I'll pick up your 80 slack, and then vice versa. She was like, I only got 10% today. I'm tired. And I think she's a stay-at-home mom.
Well, she's like a mental health advocate.
Oh, okay, so she just works from home.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, and she's like, I only got 10 today. And even though he just got off of work, he's like, well, I'll pick up your slack. I think that's like really that. You know, that comes like that's a better perspective of 50-50, because like I said, that could still be considered as 50-50 because you giving me what you got and I'm giving you what I got.
We 50-50 in the communication.
And that's what I was going to say. That takes a level of communication, understanding that we're not always going to be 100% ourselves. Like just this week alone, like we all had different things going on to where it's just like, bro, like today, Wednesday, it's not it for me. By this time of the week, it's not it for me.
Right.
Yeah, my AC going out, I called a list. I almost cried. Like, I legit almost cried because I don't have the money to fix my AC. And he was like, hold up, before you call. Like, he was giving me everything. And for me, like, y'all know, if something's going on, like, did you try this? Did you try that? Like, I feel like we all the same. It wasn't helping me because I was flustered trying to find. He said, let me try one thing. He went outside. I heard that. And I was like, and he was like, oh, all right, it should work now. And I was like, oh my God.
That's beautiful. A man that can fix it.
I sent him some money. He was like, girl, I did. Like gas, I can't afford his gas, but I sent him something for some food because I was just like, wow, that really like helped me out. And it like, general, I ain't fixing no AC.
Right. And I feel like that's the thing too. Like you need somebody, like you said, it's a partnership. Right. That's why we don't like boyfriend, girlfriend. Like we're partners. Right. And to that point, though, you need somebody to like calm you down and be the level-headed one in crisis. Mm-hmm. You need that person that's like in crisis, like let's just take a deep breath. Like you sit right here, take a deep breath, calm down, then let's tackle the issue.
You said something, and I feel like the titles. Do you believe in titles?
I believe in like the commitment level, and titles to a certain extent. Like I don't like if you don't really like that term and want to be labeled that. I feel like it's more so a partnership. I'm not taking ownership of you or trying to take control of your life and like who you are as a person. Like we are a partnership working together for something bigger.
So if somebody was like, oh, who is this? You gonna introduce them as their name?
I would say this is my partner.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. I would say this is my partner, or I can interchange it. And I think it depends on the person. Like Jalen doesn't mind, like this is my boyfriend, this is my partner. Because you want to express to people that certain level of commitment. If you just say their name, that doesn't express the commitment level. But if you say this is Jalen, my partner, this is Jalen, my boyfriend.
Yeah, I feel like the lines get blurred though when you kind of like dating, especially in this new age, because one of them, let me say one of them, the same person. I don't know why he said that like I got a whole team. I really don't. But he was like, we're talking. I was like, no, we're not talking. We're spending money on each other. If I was talking, we could have did that on Instagram. I spent gas to get here. Yeah. We dating at this point. Like, amount of effort. Like we've been out a few times. But me, I'm big on titles because I only give so much depending on the title. You're not going to get certain things out of me as a girlfriend until I'm your wife. And then as your wife, I'm giving certain things to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a boyfriend, I'm not co-signing. You're not using my credit. I'm not living with you. If I do have a kid, it's my choice. I'm doing it because of me. It don't have nothing to do with you. You know, I'm going to still own up to my responsibility. But whether you hear or not, I know I can do it. But if I feel like I can't, then, you know, we'll have that conversation. But even then, like, I don't even want to have kids with somebody. Like, it's safe sex until marriage, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to, like, set that boundary with myself because I feel like people can take too much.
So it's that term, like, you're not giving girlfriend treatment, wifey treatment.
Mm-mm.
Like, those are extreme things. Like, of course, like, we don't want to have kids if you're not married or something like that, or you're not co-signing on nothing until you're married. But, like, wifey treatment, because some people consider wifey treatment, like, cooking, cleaning, you washing his clothes, folding his clothes. Like, some people consider that wifey treatment. Do you do that in girlfriend stage, dating stage?
Because we shouldn't be living together if we're just girlfriend, boyfriend.
But if you're dating and in a committed relationship, some of his things are going to be at your house. And
but I'm not doing his full laundry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not folding your drawers, your socks, your t-shirts, your work clothes, and ironing them, hanging them up.
Oh, no, not all that.
Right, whatever's at my house, I'm going, because I ain't finna leave a dirty pile of clothes at my house, but I'm also not finna go to your house, too, and do your laundry. Like, nah.
But what about cooking and cleaning? Because
if he's at my house, I'm going to clean my house, and I'm going to cook if you're at my house, but I'm not finna go to your house and clean up your house and meal prep for you. Like, that's a wife. That's look,
not
experience.
I won't say not meal prepping, but if I'm at his or her house, because they both. If I'm at their house and we want to eat, I don't mind cooking.
Right.
Like, I'm not. But this isn't something that I'm just doing. Like, oh, I gotta go over there. I gotta cook, and no, I'm cooking because I gotta. Because
I want
but
to.
You're here,
right?
So I mean, you gotta eat too. So let's eat together.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird cooking in somebody else's space, though. Like, I prefer to cook in my own space. Like, I'll do for you when you're with me in my space.
Exactly.
And I expect for you to do for me when I'm in your space. Like, y'all know, even with y'all, I don't come into y'all's space, even though we've been best friends for 10 years or well over 10 years. I don't come in y'all house and get to cooking and doing all this stuff like it's mine. Mm-hmm. I sit my butt down. Like, can I do this? Can I do that? And I feel like that's how it should be. If I don't pay for it, I'm not about to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For me, I guess, like, the more I am in my relationship with Jalen, I feel like it's interchangeable, and it's not so much as this is mine, this is yours. It's like kind of we're meshing, not husband and wife, but it's just like, if you're here, you're going to be here for more than 6+ hours. We gotta eat. And it's like interchangeable. Like, you can cook out the kindness of your heart. I can cook. We can figure out to go get something, take out. But I don't mind cooking in his space. He doesn't mind cooking in my space. He's not a big cooker. We got to eat somehow. We don't always want to go out to eat, but it's not a chore. Yeah. I feel like when it's a chore, then it's like, why am I doing this? This is wifey stuff. Yeah. It's not a chore. It's just like, we got to eat. This is how we eat.
Yeah, and it just really depends on the person, too. Because, like, the more you're in that space, you're more comfortable.
The more comfortable.
If you're not there, if you just really dating multiple people and you're not really in a space much, no, I'm not.
And that person has to make you comfortable.
Exactly.
So
you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell once you're in a space. But yeah, if it's a space that you frequent and you start to learn where everything at, and they're like, yeah, go get that, or you want to go get it, you can go get it. Especially if they're open about it, then it's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I think too with that, like, don't be wifey material. Don't show wifey material or wifey things when you're in the girlfriend stage. It's kind of like, but how is the guy supposed to know you can be their wife if they don't see the wifey things in you? Like, how can they know this is what you will do as a wife if you kind of don't at least do some of those things as a girlfriend? Like, he may not like your cooking, and you ain't never cooked. And
it's not that you never cook. My thing is, you can't bring like Naomi said, you can't be having unprotected sex with a man that's not your husband, because if you do get pregnant, now you're giving him a part of you that you should have saved for your husband.
Well, that's not what I mean. I just mean like the
well, no, I'm saying, like, even with the cooking, if you getting up at 4:00, not saying that this is what you not, but you getting up at 4:00 in the morning, making his breakfast, packing him a lunch for work, and then making sure he got dinner every night. That's what a wife would do.
Yeah.
But I'll cook, of course. If you in my presence, I'm gonna cook for you, make sure you eat. But I'm not finna make sure you got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because like that's a lot on me.
Yeah.
And you could go like,
because I just feel like I'm just keywords like you saying every night. Like, yeah, every night. That's insane.
Right.
But the way he'll be able to see and learn, firstly, is he'll see how you take care of yourself.
Right.
If you're cooking
Right.
for yourself, you're like, okay, bet. And then, you know what I'm saying? You'll end up cooking for him randomly. It's not something that you're just doing every day and he's expecting every day. So that's how he'll see it. But yeah, it's not at because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes like if me and my boo sleeping over each other's house and my boo got off and is not got off, but had a rough night or a rough morning or whatever, I'll pack the lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll make sure the morning goes good for that person. But that's not an everyday thing. But they're gonna remember that. Like this is
she
can
do that.
Yeah.
She can.
I feel like even then, when I get married, I don't want to cook every day. Like I feel like that should be interchangeable, or we can meal prep together, like when we get married or something.
I think one of the things that I do, and I've been doing this since college, I think Kay know, is I fix enough food to eat off of breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days because I don't like grocery shopping. So for myself, I personally, as soon as I'm done cooking, I'll put everything in a little meal prep boxes so it's easy for me to grab. And at that point, it's like you can grab one, you can go.
Right.
Even in my last relationship, I was like, oh, it's food in there if you want to get it. Now I don't have no food because I don't really be here like that. But, it was like that. Like you get in there and grab it. Right. But for me, the whole mindset of, oh, I'm putting stuff in a bento box for them. I wouldn't even do that for my kids. It's $20. You better eat that school lunch. Like
it's not as clear cut and clean that people make it describe.
Like I don't want to. In my head, my bad, y'all. Technical difficulties. We're new.
It's
there with us.
Give us some time. But we just gonna go ahead. I feel like we had a great start to our conversation. We're gonna move on to the next question. What is the hardest thing for men to understand about women and vice versa? What do y'all think? What you think?
Oh, we going on me?
Whoever have an answer.
I actually asked this question similarly like last night with Bay. I was like, do you feel like men are like misunderstood a lot, or men have it harder than women? And he was like, no, because it's still a man's world. And I was like, oh. I was like,
elaborate.
He was like, regardless, men still rule a lot. And they technically still make a lot of the rules. Like think of like Middle Eastern cultures or certain cultures, like even where it's like hierarchy down, like women are still kind of subsidiary in a lot of cultures. And I honestly didn't even look at it that way. I do feel like wait, what was the question again, y'all? This alcohol?
Go like a hidden. What is the hardest thing for men to understand about women and vice versa?
I don't know if it's necessarily that is men don't understand us. I think we don't do a great job at communicating as women. I feel like we are sometimes, well, let me just say for me, let me not generalize. For me, I know I don't speak up enough about how I'm feeling, and after a while I feel like you should just know if I'm upset because I'm not saying nothing. And it's like, no, you need to say, this bothered me, I'm sleepy, I'm tired, I'm upset, I just want to cry, I just need a hug. Like I have to get out of the sense of he should know me by now. Like in my past relationship, although we were together for a year, I'm like, you don't know when I'm sleepy or when I'm upset? He was like, no, because your face looked the same all throughout. So I feel like for me, I had to do a better job at communicating. It's not that they don't understand, because they simple creatures.
They're very simple.
Yeah, but sometimes some can be so simple that even if you do communicate, for some reason it just don't translate.
Girl, you sound like Oprah right now.
Seriously, like it just don't translate. It's like, you know how they say kids or some people have like short-term memory loss or also selective hearing. And this is not just for men. It can go the other way, like women. The man could be communicating, you know, how he's feeling, and a woman she checked out. She out of there. So
I feel like for us, we are a little bit more complex, and for a lot of men, it is like point A, point B.
And for them, it's very much no. A lot of men know emotions. We're more emotional, and I mean, for me, I'm a very emotional person. So everything that happens has an emotion attached to it. And for me, like, my drawback is that I'm a therapist, so I literally thrive on emotions, like, daily. Like, I'm always like wondering what emotion is leading us here. Like, what emotion am I feeling right now? And I try to be in tune with Jalen's emotions. And I feel like the hardest thing for sometimes, not only him, but I feel like most men, like, it's emotions. Like, sometimes they don't really know what to do with our emotions, and sometimes we have big emotions, and then we just have like spectrum of emotions, to where sometimes they just have this one, C, B, and D. It's not like a large spectrum like ours is. And a lot of men too don't really know how to communicate. And I feel like when I hear like a lot of my friends and like my sister and family members get into relationships, it's like you got to teach them how to like communicate a little bit more and talk it out.
I think that's where the downfall of the understanding is too. Just understanding how to communicate with us, with women. Black men just need to understand. Oh, I didn't even mean to say black men because it's all men. But unfortunately, I only have experience with black men. So
We love our black men.
We love black men.
Yes.
Y'all are very valued here. We can only use y'all as examples because I don't think any of us have dated outside of our race.
Oh, I have dated outside of our race, but mostly black men.
Yeah, so I mean that's the only thing I can speak upon. But I just better understanding how to communicate with us, especially me. I'm a talker. We can talk. We gonna talk.
We gonna talk. We gonna sit down
We
and
gonna talk about it.
The maturity level of the person also plays into a lot. And like their upbringing, like some people, it really until you're 24, that's when your brain start to fully develop. But we know some men, they're a little bit further behind, and that's been clinically proven.
27, 28.
Right, that's been clinically proven. So I feel like you really have to look and pay attention and be aware of who you're interacting with. And because some people, although they might be very analytical and very logical, like, then when it comes to certain people, they may not pick up on certain things. So it depends.
And I feel like me being an emotional person, I have to be more aware of those analytical people. They think differently, you know. So it's like you got to be aware of your partner, and like Naomi said, be aware of your audience, like who you're speaking to, and how do they receive that message. Because how Naomi receives a message is how Kay receives a message. So I gotta communicate differently.
Yes.
And like your last partner, the way they would communicate and receive a message isn't the same with like a new partner.
That is over. I struggled with that really hard in my previous relationship, which was with a woman. But the women that I tend to date are more masculine, and even though it's like I feel like I don't want to say it's harder, because who's to say that? But it's hard because, you know, masculine presenting women also, they have the feminine what's it called, attributes of a woman and characteristics, but also with some masculine stuff in there now. And so I'm very, very analytical, and I love to communicate. If I have something to say, I want to say it. I want to talk it out. I don't like to argue. But the person I was dealing with, she at that time she was just shut down. And it's like I had to learn when to bring an issue to her. So if I had an issue, I couldn't speak on it right away because she would just blow up at me and put her guard up. And then it was like, what was even the point? What's the point of bringing it up? So I had to like wait or whatever. But it's crazy because, you know, we're still dealing. But now she's grown, and she's learning to meet me there. She's learning to meet me there and at least communicate to me that, hey, listen, right now it's just not the time. I don't want to talk about it. Can we, whatever, you know? But at first, it wasn't that.
Right, that's different from shutting down, telling
down.
you that I don't want to talk about it. That's still being vocal. So
Yeah, and also allowing your partner patience.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't make you a bad person if you don't want to talk right now. Maybe you're bad at communicating, but who isn't? You know, we've all been there. Or like if you get upset at something, like just because he's upset doesn't mean like you just ignore those feelings and like what he's going through. Like be patient with the person. Try your best to like, you know, learn how to communicate with that person.
So I think this kind of leads us to our third question: who tends to compromise more in relationships? I feel like that was,
And I think
in y'all's experiences, like, what do y'all think?
Y'all always be looking at me first.
She make these faces, y'all.
Right.
People that's listening, she make these faces, and we like, let us know.
what you think?
What do you think?
So I feel like that in my past relationship, that was just an ongoing battle, and y'all know it for me. Like, as far as compromise goes, I feel like he compromised physically, but I compromised emotionally. And I feel like emotional compromising is worse than physical. Because my body could be tired, but my mind is like, girl, keep going, keep going. And for me, it was just like I was emotionally drained. Like, personally with myself, I just felt like I was always wrong. There was something I was always doing wrong. You know, he had an issue with the word quote unquote sexy, and y'all know I like being sexy. And I think Charnel, like, after she said that, I was like, girl, you gotta get together. When Charnel was like, girl, you look like an auntie who went to pick up her kids from the soccer game. I was like, oh, but that's how I felt. Like, I just did not feel good. And that's when I had to start going to therapy, because I know y'all was like, I'm tired of crying. Like, every time I turn around, I was just boohoo crying, because I realized there was like a disconnect with me emotionally. And I felt like I was compromising to help his ego. And in the end, I was like dying.
Yeah.
Also, do y'all think compromising is a good thing in relationships? Because there's a difference between compromise and sacrifice, and it's either one of them.
I don't like that word. Sacrifice. I don't like that word. I like compromising. But if I'm sacrificing, I don't want to sacrifice nothing. That just brings a negative connotation.
Let me ask you this though: do you feel like you compromise in a relationship, but you sacrifice for your child?
I will sacrifice for my child because he didn't ask to be here. So if I have to change something about myself to be better for him, I'm gonna sacrifice that. But for somebody who's wanting to be in my life and that I want to be in my life, even if it's to the point, because at the end of the day, I don't feel like. I mean, I may be biased because I'm single, so I'm gonna say I don't need. Not saying I don't need a man, because I'm very so much all for needing and wanting a man, but like I said, my child didn't ask to be here. So in order for me to be a better person, if I have to sacrifice, yes, but I'm not going to sacrifice something that I love about myself for somebody who can be replaced.
And that's why I feel like it is, that could be like definitely opinion based too, because I feel like the only way that I would sacrifice something is if you sacrifice it too. Like and it depends on what is it. You know, we're talking in general. So like I can't say that I would never sacrifice in a relationship. It just really depends on the other context of it. Like, are you sacrificing something too? Because I'm not just gonna give up whatever it is and then you still getting what you want. Like, no, if I'm sacrificing, you sacrificing. Like, so, but then that still comes back to compromise in a way. Because if I'm sacrificing something, you sacrifice something.
Compromise on that. But where do we draw the difference between the two? Because sacrifice, I mean, that to me, that means you completely throwing it out. Compromise to me means we're meeting in the middle. Yeah. So that's what that's why I said it's such a negative connotation with sacrifice, because that means whatever you're throwing out, it'll never come back. It's never coming back.
I think of it as we are a team. We are a team. And sacrifice, I can see how it does have a negative connotation, but in my mind, I'm thinking about when I am fully committed and married to you, I will be willing to sacrifice some things.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
It took me a second to think.
I looked at her, she was like,
you said condensation.
Wait, Naomi was gritty like a chest cat, so that's
I
couldn't hold it in because she was over there.
I was not gonna say
looking
nothing.
like the grin.
She was holding it in. I was gonna let it slide, but I didn't catch the word either. I was like, wait a minute.
Naomi was like,
let me start. We can touch that.
No,
we did. That's funny. No.
Okay, another thing about me, y'all know my grammar is not good.
Okay.
Your grammar.
No, it wasn't your grammar. It was Naomi's facial expression that took me out.
Child, I need this
like,
and when you
that's
feel like
when
the
it's-
compromise, you're compromising too much on the other person.
Yeah.
exactly.
If it's,
And-
yeah, because if it's not 50-50, it's sacrifice at that point.
Exactly. I could give a real life example to that. Again, my past, I just bought my house, and I don't know about anybody else, but I love my house. I put a lot of work in it. I was working at home full time, and being in my space like I had nothing but a box, and I sat on this floor, and it was so uncomfortable for me. When I was trying to put it together, he just felt like he was coming over here more than I was going over there. But I was like, you also have to realize, compromise, that I no longer live 15 minutes down the way from you. I live 30 minutes away. My job is another 20 minutes further away from you. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I was looked at as if I was not compromising or meeting him enough, but I felt like it doesn't make sense. And to be honest, a part of me was a little bit selfish. I will say that. I was just a tiny bit selfish because I just always wanted to be here in my space. Like, ooh, you should be proud of me. But I kind of felt like it was more so like jealousy.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just a little weird. Like, you have no excitement to help me put up a lamp or anything
And
like
baby,
that.
a man that's jealous ain't gonna never be happy for you.
Yeah, so that was really hard for me. Like, I do feel like, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, I compromised a lot.
You did.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. You
You
tried
did.
to meet his
You tried to,
expectations
yeah.
to the T.
To the-
Because
to
he
the
didn't
T.
allow you room to be yourself, Naomi, as opposed to his expectations.
I felt like a compromise. What could have happened was, okay, let's say you post your pictures on Instagram that make you feel sexy. A compromise could have been, those could only be pictures that I know you were with me when we were like, or I took those of you. That would have been a happy medium. I'm the one that took those pictures, so she could post them. You know, it ain't like you took them and you could have sent them, you know, took them for somebody else, or somebody else could have took them. You know what I'm saying? Like, the happy medium to that was, I'm the one that took the sexy picture. She just posted it. You know, that's a compromise to me. But for her not to be able to post that at all, that's a sacrifice. And that's why I did feel like you gave a lot of your who you truly were. I feel like he knew one side of you and not all of you. And he fell in love with one side of you but not all of you, which is why it didn't work.
Yeah, and I feel like that goes back into the whole communication part, and which is another reason why I had to go to therapy, because I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Like, all of that blowing up on me, I do shut down. Like, at that point, I shut down because I grew up in a household where people just yelling. Like, you know, that was just that. That's how they communicated. So now I don't have time for all that yelling. Like, I need for you to calm down. Like Kay said, we could be calling each other all kind of names and whatnot, but we're still, like, sitting here. My voice isn't too elevated. Like, we're communicating effectively. But my biggest issue with him was, I would be like, well, how do you want me to fix it? Oh, I don't know. I can't do nothing with I don't know. I can't do anything with the I don't know. You got to fix your own
You just
problems.
picking out the problems, but you're not telling me how to fix it.
And I like what you said, Kay. Like, kind of define, like, what's sexy. Like, not like what you can and cannot post, but it's just like that medium. Like, I understand, like, yeah, your boyfriend may not want you exposed on social media, and certain stuff shouldn't be exposed, or you know, to make him feel uncomfortable. But getting down to the bottom of that, like, why can't I post this? What can I post? What would make this picture better?
Because those pictures was coming.
No,
they were okay.
They were
okay.
fine.
Yeah, they were fine.
There was no skin showing.
There was nothing.
So they say Aisha Curry and Steph Curry are getting a divorce.
Oh.
Because of the stuff that she was posting. Now, y'all remember way back in the day when she was like, dang, what was she like? Oh, I want to be noticed or seen. Well, apparently she's been doing like other stuff, and it's just been very embarrassing. And my conversation with Bay last night, he was like, yeah, that's a breaking point for me. Like, if you're doing stuff out there to embarrass me, especially if I kind of asked you not to do, he was like, yeah, I cut ties at that point. And I was like, well, what's considered like embarrassing? He was like, I go into a work meeting like Steph Curry, and we supposed to be talking about basketball, and they asking me about why my wife wants attention, or you dancing on top of bar tables. And I was like, so I can't twerk on the floor? He was like, nah, I don't care about that. And he was like, too, like, even if you out with your girls or something and I walk into the room and you don't acknowledge me, like I'm not your man, he was like, I don't do that. I don't do that at all. And I was like, okay. So you kind of picking people's brain, like you said, what to you is defined as doing too much or embarrassing, because I may think it's normal.
Right.
Yeah. But let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. If I was like this before we got together and you still picked me, why should I have to change that part of me? You picked me when I was like
You
this.
have to accept
If
it.
you didn't like that behavior, you shouldn't have picked me to change me. You can't change nobody.
Wait a second. But hold on.
She said, "How?"
Let me adjust my seat. So I'm not gonna lie. Certain times when you meet somebody in a certain atmosphere, like let's just say it was at a work happy hour and they see you in that setting, and then ever since then it's like you're going out and just you in private settings, they haven't had a chance probably down the line to see you in your full out setting, because what we kind of doing is this whole representation thing. We putting our best foot forward. We not showing you I'm in my bonnet, my mustache not waxed, like last night he was like, "Oh, you never seen me in my real chill clothes, muscle shirt on, I'm all," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Huh?" Like I don't.
But I think to your point too, that's why you have to date someone long enough to see those things
see
in
all
different
sides
settings.
of them.
Like you have to be willing to explore that person in different settings, not
Right.
just
That's
one
what I was about to
continuous
say.
setting.
You gotta
feel
give
like-
it time.
Yeah, I feel like you should date somebody for a year before y'all become.
I wouldn't put a time on it, but I need to. Listen.
Yeah, I would not put a time.
I'm not
on it.
putting
I'm
a-
all about
Yeah.
things being organic.
If I feel like I know what I
natural.
need to know to commit to this, then we're good. But if I feel like I need to see you a little more before I say,
Yeah, and that's how people get engaged and married within 6 months. They feel like they organically got to that.
they are
point.
satisfied with what they know about you.
And they know what they knew, what they wanted before they started dating.
Yeah, I felt like last time it was 4 months, but for me in every relationship I've had previous, after a year, I don't know what switch, but it's like I start seeing a slight different side, and it's like it literally to the T. After 1 year, even if we are in a committed relationship, I always feel like if you make it past a year, you can, make it a little bit longer, because I feel like after that, that's when it really starts to get truly comfortable, or you really start to shift to where it's kind of like, I don't know, for me, I'm like, okay, so can I see myself with you for the next 5 years? Can I see myself really marrying you? Like, since we made it after a year, in my mind, I start to think.
And they do say, like, you should see a person every season. So a year is a full season. And yet that's when you are, like, not combined, but, like, you're meshed into each other's lives. Like, a year, like they say, like, that first year of marriage is make or break. Just like a relationship and dating. But I don't know. Like, y'all said, I wouldn't put a time on, like, when we become, like, a committed relationship. Like, that is organic. Some people, it's 2 weeks, and they've been married for 20 years. It's 6 months. They're already engaged.
Do I know enough about you to go ahead and commit to you?
And do I feel comfortable enough to be like,
am I okay with this? But, and I say this about myself, don't be like, I know enough, but I'm going to try to change you, because you ain't going to get it. You ain't going to, it ain't going to
like, you're enough, however, you're enough.
If it's a however, then don't even do it.
Yeah.
Well,
don't even do it.
Y'all lesbians be out here U-Haul. Like,
what?
So it's a term where it's like, baby, after the first 3 days, all their clothes is at your house. Like, but also, a lot of those U-Haul relationships last, and they get married. They get married like after a month, 2 months. They live together. Sometimes they be taking care of the other people's babies if they got babies already. All that. I don't know if it's just
I didn't know it was a name for it.
It's called U-Haul. U-Haul. But what I will know, I mean, for me though, I'm not U-Hauling. What I will say though is that I did U-Haul once. I did. That was my longest relationship. But now that I know so much and I'm at the age that I am now, like, I'm taking my time. It's a lot. I'm still learning myself so much. So it's like, it's a lot that I require. So,
I think most of us that go through long-term relationships and we get out of them, baby, when we start over with experience, we start over with some experience. Because I know for me, after that 6-year relationship, when we was talking about doing wifely duties and you ain't even got the title, I can't put myself in that predicament no more. I can't give you 100% of me when I don't even have that same respect from you. I can't sit up here and try to change you and ignore your red flags. I can't do it because I know from experience what's going to happen. Not saying that all men are like this. I just know what to look for now.
That's what I was about to ask you. It was a specific question, specific thing you said. You're not going to do these things without a title. If you said if they don't have the same respect for you,
if they don't have the same respect for me, so it's not so much about the title, but if I'm giving you X, Y, and Z, and you're giving that back. If I'm pouring into you and you're pouring back into me, I'm fine with that.
Okay, that's
but
what
if
I need.
I'm the only one filling up the cup,
yeah.
Okay. Then who gonna refill my? Then I ain't gonna have nothing to give you no more. It gets, I'm dried up, crusty.
Yeah, I thought you was basically. It's at first I thought you was talking from just trauma and PTSD because I thought you was basically saying I'm not. If we not together, like across the board,
that's how I was. That's how I was when we first broke up, and y'all know. For y'all know, I sat down for a while before I even went on a date because I knew that mindset was dangerous.
Yes,
I knew having that mindset was not healthy. So I did not date nobody. I don't even know. It was months. I didn't even open myself.
It was different.
It was
everybody's different when they come in a relationship.
Well, no, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying for me, y'all know, because I had a dangerous mindset on me. I knew I was hurt, and I would end up hurting somebody else. So there was no reason for me to get back into the dating field with that mindset. But now that I've like I said, I've brought myself joy and I've healed myself. I can date somebody else and be open, but I'm not. But I know what to look for. I know what's not okay. I know now.
So you don't want to be back in that place.
I never want to put myself back in that place, and I never will.
A lot of people don't understand that. Like they go jumping as soon as they get out of a relationship, they jump to the next because they feel like that's gonna make them feel better when they still hurting. And then so you bringing that mindset of that old past relationship to this new thing, and it's like, man, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So yeah, I do feel like taking some time for yourself before you move on to the next thing. Try to clean your slate. Try to clean your slate.
I would honestly, this is cliche coming from me, I would honestly seek therapy. Not only therapy, but like a close knit of friends. And yes, therapy out of a long-term relationship, 6 years, especially therapy
with a child.
And if it was a traumatic experience, for sure therapy. So that way you have that support in your healing journey and making sure you don't bring that into.
You remember I told y'all I did that little 6-week course, found the therapist off BetterHelp, and I think the biggest thing that I hated that she told me was I needed to take accountability for a lot of stuff. She was like, half of the stuff that you sat up here and told me was your fault. And when I tell y'all that hurt me, like, I'm like, lady, you don't know me. You don't know what happened. You only know what I told you. And it's just like, no, she was right. I put, before me and that person had a kid, we was together for 3 years. The things that we endured in those 3 years, I shouldn't have ever even had a kid by him.
Yeah,
but I ignored all those, because I'm like, oh, he's still going to change. There's, let's just get us a new scenery. Let's move, and it's going to change. It's going to, we're getting older, so we're just hurting each other because we're young. I was making excuses for everything. So I took that was the hardest thing in them 6 weeks to deal with. She said, when you finally take an accountability for your part and your own hurt, then you can move on.
And that will help you change.
That's hard. That was hard.
Yeah, my therapist read me the pills. I must have cried so hard.
Girl, boo-hooing.
She
said that
because I'm like, she like literally, I started talking. She was like, "What's going on?" And she was like, "I feel like you just a basket case of emotion." She was like, "You don't know how to speak up for yourself." She was like, "You like everything she said, she just read me to absolute filth." And I was just like, whoa, like homegirl, I was like, dang, you sure I don't know you from nowhere? Like,
who you been talking to?
For real. And I'll never forget this. Like the day before me and my ex broke up, she said, I feel like you've been progressive in everything else in your life but your relationship. So what you gonna do about that? When you gonna get the ball rolling? And I was like, I ain't even speak yet. Like, I barely spoke, but I was just like, nah, I think I'm pretty much done. And she was like, oh, you need to ask. And the next day, God must have handled that for me because he was like, girl,
let me go ahead and move this
Let me
out the
move
way
this
for
out
you.
the
like,
way.
girl,
Here
you know,
go.
you take too long. Like,
Because girl, you said bring you a sign.
There you go.
Go.
Smack you right in the forehead.
girl, like, I'm just like, dang, how long? But I mean, look, I really do feel like therapy works. I've slowed down on my sessions because I do really need to learn, like, figure out myself.
Mhm.
But she did help in a lot of ways. And me writing down, like, one of the biggest assignments she gave me was write down your perfect man, like build a man from top to bottom. But on top of that, write your requirements, but write how you want that person to respond. Like, what does that response look like for you? And how you also respond to certain triggers and certain things. So that way that person knows what to look out for, because that's what I wasn't doing.
And also, I think that when we're writing down these traits that we want in a man, you have to write down the coexisting traits of a woman that we should have as women in order for to get a man like that. Because you can't be asking for a man. I want my man to make 100,000. He got to have his own car. He gotta be a good communicator, and we don't have nothing to. That's what men, and that's why men be like, well, what do you bring to the table? And half of the time, men don't care if you don't bring the same amount of money, but you can't be working at McDonald's and you won't, or you can't be, and no shade to nobody that works at McDonald's. Because I heard if you work at McDonald's for a long time, you can start franchising. So no shade to nobody.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to build a man, you need to build the woman that compliment him and see if you fit those requirements. Because if you don't, then you need to stop asking for that man. And hold on, because when you're sitting up there saying the Sierra prayer, you need to pray and ask God to make sure you are in your right state of mind spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Because then you're going to mishandle that man when he comes.
Thank you. No, what you sent me a video, okay? Not to, you actually sent it to all of us, but I don't know if they watched it, but I watched it, and it was a woman. She said, not only do you have to write down the men that you want, but she asked the question as a woman, what do you bring to the table? And I had to sit back and really think about that, because I was like, hold on, it's more than just pussy, or you can cook, you can clean. It's more than that.
More than a job, more than money.
Okay. Let's talk about it. What should women bring to the table? When they ask women that, what are we supposed to to say?
Well, I'll start because that actually happened to me. My first date with Jalen, almost a year ago, my first date with Jalen, I'll never forget it. When he asked me that question, we had sat down, ate dinner, we went to my car and started talking. We were talking for like 5 hours. We didn't go home till 5, 6 a.m. Had to work the next day. And he asked me that question. He's like, it's like he came to the date with questions ready to ask to get to know if he should take it to the next step. And that's what I like. Like, dating is like an interview. It's not an interrogation, but it's an interview. Like, we not just coming to have a casual date. Like, he knew what he wanted and vice versa. I knew what I wanted. It was, we both wanted a relationship and something serious. So it's like he came to the date with certain questions and things in his mind that he was looking for. And so he did ask me, what do you bring to the table? When I tell y'all, I had thought about that question before, but no one has ever asked me that question. And I kind of remember my answer. It was so on the spot and it was so late at night. And I think I said something to the effect of, I bring support. I bring my mindset, my knowledge. I bring a certain level of skill set. I bring balance to the relationship. I bring comfort to the relationship. But also all those other qualities, it was like, they're there. We know we can cook, you can clean.
Right.
Like, if you walk into my apartment, that should tell you everything you need to know about the everyday surface level stuff. But I feel like he really wanted to know on those days where he needs someone to be there. Are you going to be there no matter what? Yeah. If I need you to do this work, like, are you going to give me pushback? Or are you just going to trust me to be like, we doing this? Like, that's where that sacrifice and compromise comes back from. If my husband comes home one day and he's like, we're moving to California, we need to start packing. I probably, if I really trust you and you are my husband and lifelong partner, I probably won't ask too many questions. I should be asking, when do we have to leave? And what else do you need me to do? Because I just trust you that much, and you are my man and you are my leader. You just need to tell me what to do. Not tell me what to do, but it's like just tag me in. Like, what's the plan? Right. And I'm gonna be there.
And to piggyback off of that, like when a man asks you, what do you bring to the table? I feel like a lot of it is these women that be like, oh, he tell his mama everything, or because he can't talk to you. You don't have the good common sense to where if he is having a bad day, or if he do need somebody to support him emotionally or stuff, he can't trust you to be that person. So do you bring a nurturing side of you to the table? Do you bring somebody who's caring to the table? Because if you don't even bring that part of you, then don't be complaining when I'm sitting up here calling my mama, or you sitting up here mad because I got a friend that's a girl on the phone because I know she gonna listen. If you don't bring stuff, like you said, because of course we gonna know, okay, you can cook, you can clean. Obviously, your BMI 32%, so obviously I know you know how to cook or at least eat, you know.
And I feel like the attitude, like you have a combative attitude, like everything they do is an issue.
Right. Yeah. Then are you patient?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Like it's just like that. That's when a man asks that, that's what he want to know. He wants to know the stuff he can't see, that can't be told right off the bat. So yeah, I think, and that's where women, y'all don't have it. Y'all
a lot of women ask too many questions, and it's like, if you don't trust this person, then why are they even around? You don't trust them.
I feel like depending on the person, you gotta ask. But I actually wrote mine down because look, honey, I have a whole thing. It says desires from a husband, and it's 6 things on there. And then it says what I can offer. And the first one is to grow and multiply, because y'all know I'm a big business person. So if you hand me $1,000, I can turn it into 2. Like, that's just me. I'm an entrepreneur mindset. And then peace, because I don't do yelling. Right. Y'all know that. Like, I'm just real big. Bringing peace. Financial support. I'm not a child. Like, you don't have to take care of me. Clearly, I have my own house.
Right.
I don't plan on getting rid of it. So if something was to happen to him, I can pick up where you left off.
And if he gives you like 10,000, pay the bills or pay everything off, you know what to do.
I know what to do. Support, of course, and then I understand the biblical role of a husband.
Oh, amen. Amen. Amen.
Y'all about to get started.
But I had to look that up. Yeah, like, my therapist was like, do you even know what that is? She was like, go find the Bible verse and ask him if he know what it is.
And read how you supposed to be as a wife biblically. Because if you gonna stand in front of a pastor and he say, by the powers vested in me, if y'all don't even know what them roles are, then y'all could have went to Vegas and had Elvis marry y'all. But if you gonna sit down and read that Bible, how y'all supposed to ask each other, then that's when you go ask a pastor to marry y'all.
I got the Bible verses right here.
Read them.
1 Timothy 3:11 says, in the same way, their wives are to be women worthy of respect, not malicious talkers. Not malicious talkers, which means don't be talking a whole bunch of shit. Don't be talking outside of your neck all the time. Like
doing all that cussing.
Exactly. But temperate and trustworthy in everything.
Ooh. Have it under control. Have some self-control.
Temperate. If y'all don't know what that is, y'all better look it up.
And that don't.
Hey, why are you attacking our audience?
I'm not. She's coming for y'all.
But look, listen here. That don't necessarily mean
I'm coming for women, because a lot of Black women own up to y'all stuff. Like my therapist said, a lot of Black women want to blame men so much for stuff, but they only react. They only giving you what you give, what you have to offer. So it's like, I'm not attacking y'all, but y'all got to take that accountability.
And that's temporary.
And I was there. I was that person that wasn't. So I understand both sides, but it's just being temperate, baby. It's hard, but if you
gotta
do
be mindful, especially like I feel like
technical difficulties.
So 50 Cent has said something like, the reason why he initially started liking, I guess, foreign women was because growing up, he always saw Black women like arguing, fighting, upset all the time, struggling all the time. And here it is, you look at these other races and they looking happy, la-di-da-di, like they don't have the same issues that we have. And going back to, as a young boy, as a mom or your situation, that's the first example that he sees. So you trash talking a whole bunch of black men, or you always angry all the time, you always arguing. That's the first impression of a black woman that he's gonna see. You know what I'm saying? And kind of being mindful of that. Like, that's not the aura you want to bring into the house. So I feel like that also plays a role into us, like, you know, or not even just us, but certain women in general just really having to focus in, like, on communication again, you know, compromise, realize, okay, you know what, this argument don't need to take place here. Maybe we need to take this outside. Like, maturity and growth at the end of the day. I feel like you said, we got to take accountability and do a lot better.
Right, that is true.
Yes, well, that was an amazing conversation. I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Let us know what y'all think too. Let us know what y'all think. Yes, again, our comments, DMs, and email is open. Follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button so you can always know when ASKN is dropping. We're on all platforms, Spotify and
TikTok.
Link below. Everything will be linked below. So it was nice talking with y'all.
Thank y'all
so much for listening.
Second episode. Yes.
Bye, y'all.
And that's a wrap for this episode of ASKN. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights into the everyday life questions that we all face.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment to let us know what you think. Follow us at ASKN the Podcast on all platforms.
We love hearing from our listeners and appreciate your support.
Until next time, keep being curious and asking questions.
This is ASKN signing off.